be asking, what am I doing? Why is the hood up? What are we doing now? Here's the deal. Car gone through emissions again. This year it was time to go through emissions. The hydrocarbons and the carbon monoxide were great. What wasn't so great was the NOx. Actually, it was almost great. In this state, the standard with a standard IM 240 loaded test, as soon as they put it on a dynamometer, they check for NOx, nitrides of oxygen, which is a real bad pollutant. Well, the standard is 2.0. This car has been tested 3 times, and the last time was 2.02. NOx is caused by high combustion chamber temperatures. Now, what can cause that is a bad EGR, because the whole point of an exhaust gas recirculation valve, the EGR, is to help cool the combustion chamber to drive down the NOx. This is an LT1. It does have a 3-way catalyst or catalytic converter. It does have an EGR. It does have cooling passages that run through the intake manifold to try to cool it, make a denser charge. That's more for performance than anything else. But with a reverse flow cooling system, the thing is LT1s run hot. Normally they run on an average day, 210, 212. That's pretty much normal. Thing is, this car has 182,000 miles. And I'm almost positive it has some carbon buildup on top of the pistons, which raises compression, which raises combustion temperatures. Now, I was trying to find somebody who could do a decarbonizing on this, run it through. That's about an hour process. It's a chemical process. They run it through the engine, the top of the cylinders, and it cleans it out. Well, I couldn't find anybody, at least not immediately. So what I've done to do is I'm going to change the thermostat in this. Now, I am suspecting that the thermostat may not be working as well as it should. For one thing, it was about 40 degrees last night, and I was driving down the freeway at about 70 miles an hour, and I was still running about 210. And there's nothing. The air dam is in place. The radiator's new. Water pump's working. Everything's working. So there's really no reason that I should be running that hot. I should be down about 190, 185, and it has a 180 degree thermostat in it already instead of the 195. So and the way I've been watching it, and it's like it seems to open a little too late and close a little too early. So the car runs. I think the car is actually running a little hotter than it should given the conditions. Now, if it was 115 outside, from 90 to 115, that would be normal in traffic. But the weather's been really nice, and when you couple the fact that I failed emissions and that I don't like the way the temperature gauges run. In fact, at one point when I was sitting in line in emissions, I had it down to 180, and then it shot up to 230 degrees, and then settled back down to about 212. It shouldn't have done that. That's not acting normal. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually doing what some people don't recommend, but I'm in a very warm climate, and this car is doing some pretty bad commuting duty right now. So I'm putting in a 160 degree thermostat, which I had to special order actually because they want to say a 195 or a 180. I have to get those combustion chambers down, and this engine's going to run hot anyway. Hotter, but as little as a 10 degree drop in an engine operating temperature could be enough to get this car through emissions. So the reasons for doing this are twofold. One is I'm trying to get this car to pass emissions because it's so close now. I know everything's running right, it's just running a little too warm. So we're going after the most obvious thing. And secondly, I want to get the car running a little cooler than it's been running. I don't think the thermostat's working right. So, and you'll see me actually, I'm going to test the new one, which will come up right next. The next thing you'll see is me testing the new thermostat. I have a digital thermometer that I point at it, and I'll get the water up to temperature, and what should happen is that thing should spring open, and then when I take it out, it should go back closed. That tells you it's working right. You always want to test when you're putting in a new thermostat because it's such a pain in the butt and such a messy job. Make sure it works before, but anyway, so twofold. We want this car to cool a little better which, you know, anybody who has one, you know, LT1s normally run a little hotter. But I'm in a severe climate. Now, I'd say if you were in back east or the Midwest where, you know, you're getting down in teens, you got days where, you know, 85 is a very warm summer day to you, I wouldn't recommend this because you're never going to. The problem is they say the catalyst and the catalytic converter will never heat up. The engine will never heat up enough in those kind of environments to actually have efficient combustion. You'll lose gas mileage. The car will pollute more, that kind of thing. I'm not concerned about that in the climate I'm here. Look, it's early November where I am right now, and today was 87 degrees, and that was considered a nice day, which it was a nice day, but you get out in a lot of traffic and, you know, stop and go and that kind of thing, and yeah, it's pretty brutal. So I have no concerns about the car being overcooled. It's almost laughable to think of an LT1 ever being overcooled. You know, maybe the old small block Chevy. I mean, now, you know, I've still got the L, and that's not a reverse flow cooling system. Um, yeah, that one can be too cold and take forever to warm up to get even to 180, but this is not going to be a problem with the LT1. I'm confident of that. Um, anyway, let's get going. So why am I showing you a pot of boiling water on a car channel? I think I'm going to put an egg in there, don't you? You really think I'm going to do that, aren't you? But I'm not. I'm going to see. Let's see here. That's the ambient. So why would a car guy boil water?
I don't know. Why would a car guy boil water?
Let's see. Yeah, we're testing a thermostat. We're going to see if it opens. Ooh. This is a 160-degree thermostat. This is what's going in the formula, and you can see, a little bit of fog there, but she's wide open. That's what she's supposed to do. So good. There's your hint, folks. Boil a pot of water, doesn't take long. Always test the thermostat before putting it in the car because it's a pain in the ass. All right, onward and upward. This is literally like watching paint dry. Let's see if it closes now. Yeah, it's slowly moving. There it's going. Yeah. And yep, she's closed. So our new thermostat is working. Kind of cool science there for gearheads. Okay, so we're not only going to do the thermostat this time around, but as with most Firebirds and Camaros of this generation, this is the coolant level sensor. Now, right now, I have my old one disconnected because it kept telling me I had low coolant when I didn't. But I'm going to change this, and since you've got to take the same amount of coolant out of the engine, you might as well just change this at the same time. So it's kind of a two-for project. But anyway, right now, you can kind of see, not really, but I've got a fan on top of the formula, on top of the motor. I've been cooling it down, and it's a nice cool night. I have a lever vent cap. One of the ways I know that the system's cooled down is if I pick this up and I don't hear a gurgle, I know the system's been cooled off. So let's get to doing some work here.
Alright. For step one is we have to find the drain cock. We're going to drain about half the coolant out of this radiator. And this is where it starts. And on the formula on most of the radiators, Formula Camino, the 4th gens, it's on the passenger side. You just loosen it up and let it come out. So that's what we're going to do. Get a catch pan here. Ready? Alright, about there. Let's see, let's try not to make too much of a mess here. We got some flow here. We're going right into the pan. There you go, now you can see it. The way to help that is to let a little pressure off the radiator. Open our little lever vent there. See, it's coming out more. Little simple physics. Gravity and air pressure. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. We're not going to completely drain it. And yes, I use dex-cool still. Right into the fan here. We're also going to look at the condition of the coolant too. Okay. Let's take a look at the condition of the coolant. It's still coolant. We don't have any weird stuff in it. The floaties were already there. That didn't come out of the cooling system. A little bit of dreck there. But coolant looks good. It's not milky. Smells right. So yeah. Now, if we got oatmeal or something like it, or gray or something that came out, then we might have a little problem. But that's telling us that the cooling system is in pretty decent shape. So that's good. Okay.
Would you hate me if I put my foot on your...
As long as there's not a shoe on it, it's fine.
There's nothing.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as there's not a shoe on it. Okay, so we took a little more coolant out of the radiator than I thought we would. Hi. But that's fine. I got plenty. I got lots over there. But first thing I have to do is we have to get at the actual thermostat. And to do that, we got to get this elbow out of the way. Because right underneath this is the thermostat housing. And my awesome lady is the camera person, making this a lot better video. So, thank you. She doesn't have a name though. We're preserving her anonymity. So, all right. I gotta get these sensors off of this elbow, which is always an adventure. that. That's the IAC. This is the vent line from the distributor. Get that out of the way. If we do this right, we shouldn't have to disassemble this too much. Because I hate dealing with this air assembly, but we may have to. It all depends how easy this comes off. This is the MAF sensor assembly in my right hand. There we go. And voila, it's off. Yeah. On Mechanics, brought to you by Rolling Rock. No.
You're sponsored?
No. But I'm open to it. Okay. Now, right here, I don't know if you could see it, this is the thermostat housing right here. Now, the first thing I have to get out of the way is this valve actually goes into the intake manifold. This is what I was talking about, reverse flow cooling. This is actually runs coolant through the intake to try to help cool it down. And I'm gonna actually get that off of there. There we go. That's nice and loose now. Let's see if we can get this thing off. Yeah, it's coming. There we go. So there's that coolant line off. It's a good idea to check out the hose too while you're got this stuff loose. I know I changed these recently, but it's good to just make sure.
That's what she said.
See what kind of gunk's in here. Okay, that's normal.
Standard gunk?
Standard gunk.
Okay, good.
No weird gunk. And what I'm actually going to do is get a small screwdriver and just kind of poke it in that hole and see if there's any blockage. Perfect. One of these little screwdrivers you fix eyeglasses with. Perfect. Just to make sure, yeah, we don't have any blockages or anything in there. Just kind of put around in there and see if there's any. Nope, nothing but coolant. Cool. Okay, so now we can actually see our thermostat housing. Now, I'm going to get a rag. See some stuff there. I'm going to get a rag and just kind of try to stuff it there because I don't want to risk any coolant. Now, we drain the radiator. There should be nothing in this hose, but just in case. Because we all know how fun it is to change an OptiSpark. Go check that video out. And of course we know that this is a half metric, half SAE car, so that makes it even more fun. Let's kind of see if I can get this back in here. I'm always real careful around this because I'm dealing with connectors and electronics that are almost 25 years old and been in Arizona for all that time. So try to be real, what's the word? Ginger? Do this gingerly? I just want to try to catch any bit of coolant that comes out. Now let's see what size these are. Of course they're not this size, which is not this size. Okay.
Not that size.
Not that size.
Okay, got it.
It's also a good idea to take a look at your radiator cap, kind of see the condition of the coolant and what's in there. A little bit of dreck. Dex-cool will always have a little bit of deposit. That's why a lot of people hate it. They claim it clogs up the system. Only if you put non-dex-cool with it, that's it. But yeah, that's normal. I've seen that for 20 years. That's not the problem. Not what we saw there. Okay, so we found it. It's a 5/16 socket. So we got lucky. This part of the car is SAE. So we're gonna loosen it. There's one. And I try to keep things together, so that's why I haven't taken the radiator hose off. But I may do it anyway. Depends on how much resistance I get here. And the nice thing about these is they have a little O-ring that seals them, so you don't have to use a bunch of sealant. In fact, they usually tell you not to use a bunch of sealant because it's a machined surface. We'll find out. Yeah, and I went back through my records. I don't think I've ever changed a thermostat in this car. Not since I've owned it. Let's get these out. In fact, what I should do is get my magnetic tray.
Time for the magnetic tray. I don't know if we can handle it.
Okay, those are out. Let's see if this comes free. This one. Okay. There we go. Pop. And there it is. And luckily all the fluid went out the front, which doesn't have to touch. Yeah, looks like I did use a little sealant, or somebody did. Not much though. This is a good time too. Check the condition of your housing. Make sure there's no pits or grooves or anything like that. So, I don't know how well you can see that, but looks pretty good. Looks almost new. That's the wonders of aluminum. Okay. All right. Yeah, this thing's interesting. So this is why we drain the radiator, because we didn't want a bunch of coolant all over the place. Better to be in a pan over there somewhere else. It's also a good time to check the hose out. I know I changed that recently too. We get something to hold that out of the way. There we go. All right. Let me get the old thermostat out. There we go. Kind of check the passage. Looking good. So there you are. That's half the job right there. All right. There's the old one. And you know what we're going to do to this? We're going to put it in... Well, we're going to put it in boiling water, and then we're going to throw it out. Yay. So, yeah. All right.